There is a major problem within the education system today, and that is the standardization and segregation that is ongoing in schools. This all started with the No Child Left Behind Act, which was enacted in 2002 by President Bush, and it mandates that all states conduct standardized tests in reading and math in grades 3 through 8, and in 2008, science was added to that list. The No Child Left Behind Act was created to make it easier on teachers and administrators to separate children into different class levels and tracks that lead to different career paths. This will help them not have to take classes that they might not need when they're older. Moving on to why standardized testing and how standardized testing promotes segregation. This is not done intentionally, and it's really just based on how socioeconomic status works. The higher class tends to have more money for extra tutors and extra classes to prepare for exams like the SAT, the ACT, and the standardized tests that were mentioned for the No Child Left Behind Act in grades 3 through 8. The higher class also tends to have more majority races, and the lower class tends to have more minorities, and they don't have as much money for the extra tutors or the extra classes to prepare for the exams. Standardized tests tend to challenge entrenched class privileges that give the rich an advantage in accessing higher education. This creates not only a divide between cultures, but also between ability levels. This ability divide is the AP and the CP and the honors classes that we have all known throughout school. These are used for tracking, which is the placement of students into different tracks based on achievement that lead to different career paths and futures. This also contains the labeling theory, the labeling of someone as a certain trait, but more specifically deviant. This comes into play when teachers can immediately see and judge the physical characteristics such as sex, race, grooming, style of dress, need for free lunches, info on enrollment cards, discussion of family activities, and visits to the school by parents. This becomes a problem when teachers assume that a minority or lower class student is less smart or lower achieving than a majority richer student. The teacher then wants to place them in a lower class and assumes that they cannot teach them as effectively as the majority whiter students. Going back to the standardized testing, Jay Rosner, an admissions test expert, says, each individual SAT question that ETS chooses is required to parallel outcomes of the test overall. So if high-scoring test takers, who are more likely to be white, tend to answer the question correctly in pre-testing, it's a worthy SAT question. If not, it's thrown out. He also says that race and ethnicity are not considered explicitly, but racially disparate scores drive question selection, which in turn reproduces racially disparate test results in an internally reinforcing cycle. This is me going back, talking about the socioeconomic status. This is how it plays in there. I propose that the No Child Left Behind Act be less strict and that we take away the major use of standardized tests like the SAT, the ACT, and the yearly checkup tests that all schools do. With this change, teachers will be able to stop focusing on teaching to the test as much, which is it's just rote memorization. The kids aren't memorizing, they're memorizing stuff for the test, but they'll forget it right after. I've done that multiple times. And instead, they're finding new and interesting ways to teach students information like games, puzzles, like the Jeopardy games, Kahoots, we all love those. Colleges can then focus solely on GPA and extracurriculars for admissions. And this takes the stress of junior year by taking the SAT or the ACT. This takes a lot of the stress from junior year out, and students can focus solely on their classes that they're taking, whether it be AP classes, honors classes, or CP classes. Grades K through 12 and colleges will still have testing classes, however, to test the information that the students are learning and how they are learning it. Thank you.